like women's fragrances and things like that. But this is different. What you're receiving is a one-piece tree peony, which I had never heard of. $36.50 for a tree. And it's been wildly popular, over 45,000 sold. And then you get your choice of color too. Or of course you could pick up more than one. You have your choice of the peony in pink, the dark red, or the purple, which is the new color this season. But what's the difference between the other peonies that we see and then in a tree?
Right, yeah, everyone loves the peonies, the garden peonies. Coming from Indiana, it's the Indiana state flowers, the garden peony. So I'm kind of, I have to love them, and I do love them because peony flowers are probably the most beautiful flowers that you can grow, in my opinion at least. But there's a number of problems with the garden peony that make them, a little sad at times. The main fact is that if you have a hard wind or rainy conditions in the spring, which you can pretty much guarantee is going to happen, your peony plants will fall to the ground. They'll totally flop over and they'll get totally damaged. And they only bloom for about 2 weeks.
Okay.
But this tree peony is, because it's a tree, it grows about 4 to 5 feet tall. It has strong woody trunks, so it's never going to flop over. But what it does so spectacularly is it has these large 8 to 10 inch flowers that look gorgeous for about twice as long as the garden peonies will bloom for.
Is this a picture of the tree in China?
Yeah, they come from China. That's a great question. And this is the brand new purple. All three of the colors that you have to choose from have beautiful 8 to 10 inch flowers like that, and that gorgeous bright yellow central eye. And they look remarkable in your garden. That's probably the most glorious plant that we offer all year round.
It seems really regal,
It is super regal because it's kind of like this perfect topiary plant, a tree that produces beautiful flowers, beautiful peony flowers on top. And like I was saying earlier, so here is, your garden peony flower. And as you can see, it gets very floppy. If you have a strong rainy day in the springtime, which happens every year, your plant's gonna totally fall to the ground, and the garden peonies have this sap on them that will attract the ants, so you have to clean them off and all that. But what we have here, so you have the garden peony, and then you have the tree peony. The tree peony, because it has this thick, sturdy, woody stem, it's not gonna flop over. In fact, I can show you, it has this beautiful wooden trunk. Now this wooden trunk is a very important feature. This is what makes the plant so special. Because it has this wooden trunk, you never have to prune your tree peony. You never have to worry about it falling over from the wind or the rain. But all you have to do is you plant it somewhere that you want to see it every year for probably the rest of your life. These are known to grow for over 100 years.
Wow, and do I need to plant it in a sunny spot, a shady spot?
This likes about the part sun to the part shade. And as you can see, the flowers are absolutely glorious. This is one of your tree peony flowers, and this is, just a baby flower.
What color is that?
So this is a baby pink. It's gonna start to take on some darker, more rich pink hues. We had to cut it off a little bit early, for the show today, but you can see how beautiful these flowers really are. Look at how fluffy they are, and they are so beautifully fragrant, just like the garden peonies that we love. But because they're gonna bloom for about 4 weeks, it's gonna bring you even more peony love in your garden.
And now, being a tree, how does it arrive to me?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, what we have is a 3-year-old tree peony root that
Is that common?
This is very uncommon. So we take planes, trains, ferries, you name it, to get to the middle of China to talk with these growers, to negotiate with these growers in order to get you these 3-year-old tree peony roots. And the reason it's so important is because tree peonies will typically take about 3 to 4 years to flower. So after much negotiation, we were able to bring you these 3-year-old plants.
Wow.
Now, if you were to look online to find tree peonies, you might find some. Most of the time, they're going to be grafted, which means they kind of take a little piece of a tree peony, cut it and put it onto a garden peony, and then it's kind of a knockoff. And after a couple years, it will no longer be a tree peony, it'll just be a garden peony. But if you do find a real tree peony, it's gonna look something like this. This is your typical 1-year-old tree peony. It's kind of weak and flimsy, and it's gonna take 3 to 4 years to produce flowers.
Right.
And
so we have to be a little bit more patient with that
and
one.
we said no. We want our QVC customers to get flowers the first year. So that's why we were so imperative of bringing the 3-year-old plants. But also those 1-year-old ones that I was just showing you, those are going to cost probably 2, 3, 4 times as much as our 3-year-old, and that's just due to QVC's wonderful
well, we have a lot of shops.
relationships. Yeah. So here, I just want to show you guys how easy it is to plant. So we have full instructions in our Gotta Grow guides that show you exactly how to do it if you forget.
Right here.
So right here,
comes with every plant you order, so keep them, don't
lose them. And they
have
full instructions. So here, this is what's called the crown, and you just basically, you put it into your pot of soil or plant it in a place. Plant it into a place of prominence into your garden with the soil just up to the crown. Pat it down a little bit.
Okay.
You give it some spray and flourish, some flower magic, you water in, and you just planted this plant. And it's gonna be looking beautiful for the next, 100 years or longer.
Now, remember, you do have your choice of the colors.
Yes.
Here is the pink. We saw this in the baby form moments ago. And you also have a couple other colors to choose from. Each one is $36.50. 2 easy payments is an option too, and there's free shipping. I'll just have Devin talk about the colors.
The pink is so beautiful. The pink is a symbol of love. You see these 8 to 10 inch wide flowers. They're fluffy, multi-petaled. They have that beautiful yellow eye. Here you can see a fully established pink tree peony that's probably in its 3rd or 4th season. Now this plant, once it's established like that, they'll have up to 50 blooms on it during its 4-week bloom season.
What does that mean in years, like a 3rd season?
So you plant it, and then in about 3 seasons it would look like that.
Okay.
And here you can see the dark red. I love this. Is probably my favorite, and it's also the most popular one out in China. This is the symbol of love and wealth and prosperity. This is the symbol of wealth and prosperity out in China. So every household has these red tree peony flowers growing, and they are beautifully fragrant. Here you can see them growing just like a wonderful topiary plant.
They look so fluffy.
They are. And they are much larger than the garden peony flowers because they have that woody trunk. They're able to support these larger flowers without falling over. The garden peonies, they start to fall over if the flowers get too large. And here you can see our brand new purple. This is the symbol of royalty. And these will all grow about 18 inches per year, and they max out at about 4 to 5 feet tall. So, when I think about this plant, I think about planting it in an area of your garden that, you're gonna see it every day when you drive home, when you get home from work, A place that I really love seeing it is kind of that corner where your driveway and the road meets. So you see it every day. Anyone that's driving by or walking by will see it as well, because this is one of the most spectacular plants that you can have in your garden.
And that purple is new this season. One more question, Devin, though. Being a tree from China, I can still grow it in like most parts of the US?
This is totally a perennial across the country. It's winter hardy down to -20 degrees. And the other thing is if you live in the South and you could never grow a garden peony before, well, this doesn't require a freeze. So you can live in Miami or San Diego and grow these tree peonies and still receive the beautiful peony flowers year after year.
That's so important for people that have, moved down south to retire. They miss their peonies, but folks, like Devin said, these do not need a freeze.
No, and they have free shipping and handling and $36.50.